Tristan with Nerdud's Newsstand, and today we are going to talk about pirates.
What then? Fucking fish.
Yeah, no, not that kind of pirate. We're going to talk about comic pirating, specifically what Erik Larson has to say from Image Comics and why he thinks that the big two are floundering and failing. And the threat of, closure is real. So we're going to talk about all that. But first, I want to give my personal little issue here on pirating, because I do think that pirating happens and there is one situation where it is okay, where it is completely fine. And that one situation is when the comic book industry does not have those titles available, because that does happen. And it happens quite often with back issues. And if you were to right now go and look for the DC and Marvel crossover because you wanted to see the baddest Batman and Iron Man together, you'd have to pirate it. It is not in print and you cannot buy it digitally. If you wanted to go look at the old Milestone, although they are releasing some of those right now, currently, you'd have to go look at it. Even some of the old George Perez, some of that stuff is simply not available and not in print and not available for digital. The only way you can read it is pirating. So yeah, there's your one actual out where I do think it's okay. Now, let's be real here. Have I pirated before? Of course. I actually use each and every single week the scan from the pirated websites for my thumbnail. And that is not because I didn't buy the books I review. That is because they are a much higher quality image than what I can get with a screenshot on my phone. So I download them, I use them, I tweak them a little bit, and I put them in my thumbnail. Yes, every single week. Now, there was a time when I did pirate more often if I wanted to check something out before I bought it or didn't buy it because I was unable to purchase it. And that's a real thing. But those people weren't paid. The comic editor wasn't paid. The writer, the artist, the letterer, all of those people lost out money every single time that I were to purchase that. Now, I understand it's not going to be something I can convince you otherwise of. Honestly, a big part of the community, a big part of people that read comic books do so pirating. And I think a lot of it has to do with ease of access. When you go on to these websites, you can download them in complete format, download a comic reader, and you're good to go. It is honestly no shade to Comixology because I use that app quite a bit. It's a lot easier. And that is at the fault of Comixology. They need to get a better system, even though the one they don't have is right now isn't currently broke or anything. It's just not near as convenient as the other ones, right? So we're going to take a look at these tweets, but of course, I want to make sure I say no judgment. I've been there. I've pirated before, but I think at this point with having a channel and using these books as, a way to make content with, it would be wrong for me to personally pirate, right? So we're going to take a look at these. Now, Erik Larson comes in and he says, I have the wrong one up, because of course I do. I'm super professional. On the piracy debate, there is no debate. Now, Erik Larson is, I think one of the chief financial officer over at Image. He's at the top. He knows the amounts that are sold of each and every single comic. Now, I will say something really positive for Erik is the fact that they are doing fantastic with their Image titles. I really like them. Now, they did put one out this week, I believe was Image. I read it last night. I was really like, what? Why didn't it just looked pretty. It was called Save Yourself. Not a recommend. It's about a boy that has, I don't know, his Powerpuff Girl video game come to life, and then he has a friend that's a girl with a beard. It was odd. Not a recommend. But generally, Erik does a good job of having a different line of comics for everyone to read. Superhero comics, horror comics, the crazy one I read last night. There is something for everyone at Image, and generally I like them. Generally, they are very good titles, and he's bringing over huge names. He's got Scott Snyder and Jeff Johns over there. He's got Ram V's on Boom. But even so, he's got some amazing titles over there. He's got Donnie Cates. So, he knows at the top what's pirated. What, even with his own personal title, Savage Dragon, which I never personally got into. I'm not saying it's bad. I've read other work by Erik that I do like, but Savage Dragon I'm not really into a dragon figure. Can't get into it. It's a little hard. So, people are struggling to make a living when you're taking what they're creating without giving them compensation. There is no justification, right? It's theft. You can equate it to, somebody making, mittens and you stealing them, right? It's in a different way. It's digital theft. And I understand there's no justification, especially for someone in my position that is using them to make content and profit off of, even if a YouTube AdSense is a joke, I'm still making content with them. So this is what everyone wants to see about, though, because he replied to quite a few people, and I don't think he did it. I think he was really professional during this entire thing. I went through a few of his replies, and he seems pretty nice and down to earth, but someone said it's less of a problem of entitlement, and it's a problem of a corporate assumption that all consumers are able to withstand that rate of content. Okay, so this guy up above had said, what about, a kid that's buying the X-Men and then all of a sudden there's 7 or 8 brand new titles that you have to read to understand it. Yeah, it's really not fair to kids, but I'll tell you what, honestly, comics have went from a kid's comic or a kid's thing, maybe, to a middle-aged adult thing because they are expensive. They're not going to go down in price. And kids don't have the interest in this. Kids are obsessed. Like they're killing it in the anime network because of kids. I see it I just joined TikTok to put my shorts on and stuff. Oh my God. It's full of My Hero Academia cosplay. It's full of people pretending they've got an apple for Death Note. It's amazing, honestly. I wish there was a way for DC and Marvel to kind of take in and use that information you can collect from a platform like that and use it to their benefit. But my God, kids are obsessed with anime and it's adorable and I love it at the same time. But then I'm telling my nephews, like, no, how about Batman? Batman sucks. No, it doesn't. Do you want to fight me? I will fight you. Anyway, so he says these companies are floundering and failing. Yes, I will fight a child. He's taller than me. Yeah, I will lose. So the threat from upstairs is that they'll go to all reprints and stop producing new material. They're doing everything they can to stay alive. If you can afford it, do without. I agree in a way. Now, do I think it's important for people to also make, content that's positive that may help it? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think it's important to every single time I do a review? Like I did a review the other day of Supergirl, World of Tomorrow. I make sure in my pinned comment, I put a link to buy that book. So you know where to go if you are interested after, I do a spoiler review. So most people probably aren't, but I want to make sure I do my due diligence and I'm fair too. Those people deserve to be paid. Those people deserve compensation for their work, just like you do when you go to work, just like I do. We don't work for free. We work to get ahead in life. The market's going to decide, right? And when we live in a capitalistic society, you have to always learn and adjust the way you do things. I'm constantly trying to make my editing you'll see always I'm putting new things and trying different ways of editing, trying different ways of thumbnails, trying to get ahead of the game. A lot of my detriment is not being negative enough, and that won't change. But if I did, it probably would help. But even so, you have to always change and do better. You have to look at the data. You have to understand the data. That's my problem. Yeah, I look at my analytics and I'm like, okay, so line. Obviously, everyone likes Johnny Depp, but I don't want to talk about Johnny Depp. So let's go back to comic books. Like, it's just, I'm not good with data. I'm a simple, teeny channel. But these are massive corporations. They need to learn how to look and market to those kids that love. They're obsessed with manga. I was shocked at all I seen on there. I mean, these kids know manga better than they probably, or anime and manga, but then they probably know, geometry and algebra. Like, it's amazing. They need to learn from that at some point. Now, on the piracy debate, is manga and anime for that matter, is that pirated? Of course it is. But how much does it affect? I think probably there is an effect on the market, but I can't imagine it's more than the effect on the market when it comes to like marketing on Twitter. I bet it's actually quite a bit less. So if something is downloaded 100,000 times, how much sales would that equate to? 5,000 sales? Is that the difference? When we see something like Hawkman, which was a fantastic run by Robert Venditti, would that have been the just enough for it to continue? Probably not. But when you're on that cusp, those ones would have been very important. You could be that different. So I don't know. It's a tough subject that comes up every year or so. But I think, everyone is kind of unanimous. You got to pay for this. But everybody also, turns off the eyes and then downloads it. It's a lot, probably 50% of the community. So I don't know. It's a niche thing. So it's very damning to a community that is so niche. Now, whether or not Erik Larson is correct in their floundering and failing and everything else, I kind of tend to disagree with. But then again, the glass is half, and nope, it's half full. I couldn't think about what. It's half full for me. So we'll have to wait and see. But regardless, let me know what you guys think about pirating down below. If you're okay with it, if you're not okay with it, either way, I want to know. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.